I need to tell you about something that Lidl does in their middle aisles that's costing you hundreds of pounds a year, and you don't even realize it's happening. You know that middle aisle in Lidl, the one with the random stuff that changes every week. Power tools on Monday, garden furniture on Thursday, ski equipment in July for some reason. That's not random. It's carefully designed psychological manipulation to make you spend money on things you don't need, don't want, and will probably never use. I spoke to 3 former Lidl employees and a retail psychology expert who specializes in supermarket behavior. What they told me about how that middle aisle actually works was genuinely eye-opening. In this video, I'm going to show you 10 specific tricks that Lidl uses in those middle aisles to separate you from your money. Once you know these tricks, you'll never shop there the same way again. By the end, you'll know exactly how to resist the manipulation and only buy what you actually need. Let's get into it. Number 10, the scarcity illusion. Let's start with the most obvious trick, but one that still works on millions of people every week. The scarcity illusion. You walk past the middle aisle and see a bright red sign that says, "While stocks last," or "limited quantity available." Your brain immediately panics and thinks, I need to buy this right now or it'll be gone forever. But here's what a former Lidl employee who worked there for 4 years told me about those signs. She said those signs are on absolutely everything in the middle aisle, whether it's actually limited stock or not. We put them up because they make people panic buy. I've personally seen products with huge limited quantity signs that we had 300 units of sitting in the warehouse. The scarcity is fake. It's manufactured urgency designed to make you buy immediately instead of thinking rationally about whether you actually need the item. She told me a story that made me laugh. We had this air fryer with a massive "while stocks last" sign. Customers were literally running to grab them. We sold out by lunchtime, but then we restocked it the next day and the day after that. We had that air fryer for 3 weeks straight, but customers thought they had to buy it that exact day or miss out forever. Even when items genuinely do sell out, Lidl often brings them back a few weeks later, so that once they're gone messaging is usually complete nonsense. She said, I saw customers buy things they clearly didn't want or need just because the sign said it was limited. One guy bought 3 sets of screwdrivers because he thought he'd never see them again. 3 sets. Who needs 3 sets of identical screwdrivers? Here's how to resist this trick. If you see something you want in the middle aisle, deliberately leave the store without buying it. Go home. Think about it for 24 hours. If you still genuinely want it tomorrow, go back and buy it. If it's genuinely good value, it'll either still be there or it'll come back. Number 9, the loss leader power tool. This one is specifically about power tools and DIY equipment, which appear in the middle aisle constantly. Lidl will sell a cordless drill for £19.99. Seems like an absolute bargain compared to Bosch or Makita drills that cost £80 to £100. You think, why would I pay 80 quid for a drill when this one is 20 quid? But here's what a former employee who worked in stock management told me about those budget power tools. He said, those tools are loss leaders. We barely make any profit on them. Sometimes we actually lose money, but they get you in the store. And once you're there holding a drill, you suddenly realize you need drill bits, screws, safety glasses, a storage case, wall plugs. Suddenly you've spent 60 quid on accessories. The cheap drill is just bait. The real profit comes from all the accessories you buy alongside it. And here's another significant issue. Those budget Lidl power tools aren't designed to last years like proper branded tools. They're designed for occasional home use, not regular use. He told me, I bought the Lidl drill myself because I worked there and got staff discount. It lasted about 6 months before the battery completely died. Wouldn't hold a charge. And I couldn't replace just the battery because Lidl doesn't sell replacement batteries for discontinued tools. I had to buy a whole new drill, so that 20-pound drill actually cost me £40 over a year. Compare that to buying a proper 50-pound drill from Makita or DeWalt, where you can buy replacement batteries. It comes with a warranty and it lasts for 5 to 10 years. He said, if you only need a drill once or twice a year for hanging pictures, the little one is probably fine. If you're going to use it regularly, spend more on a proper tool that'll actually last. Number 8, the seasonal misdirection. This one is brilliant and manipulative at the same time. Lidl puts seasonal items in the middle aisle months before you actually need them. Barbecues in March when it's freezing cold. Christmas decorations in September. Garden furniture in February when there's frost on the ground. Swimming pools in April. A retail psychology expert I spoke to explained exactly why they do this. She said, by putting seasonal items out months early, they create this feeling in customers of, I should prepare early and be organized. You buy a barbecue in March, even though you won't use it until June. And then when June comes around, you see another barbecue you like better, so you buy that one too. You end up owning 2 barbecues because they manipulated the timing of your purchase. Buying seasonal items months early means they sit in your garage for ages, taking up valuable space. And sometimes you genuinely forget you even bought them. The expert told me, retailers know that early seasonal purchases often lead to duplicate purchases later. You buy a paddling pool in April, store it away, completely forget about it, and then buy another one in July when it's actually hot and your kids are begging for one. Here's the simple rule to avoid this. Only buy seasonal items when you're actually about to use them that week or within the next fortnight maximum. Don't buy winter coats in August or paddling pools in March. Wait until you actually need them. Number 7, the comparison confusion. This trick is particularly clever and most people never notice it. Lidl displays its middle aisle products with comparison prices printed on the labels. Compare to £89.99 elsewhere, or RRP £120. You think you're getting an amazing deal, £80 off, incredible bargain, but a former employee who worked in merchandising told me those comparison prices are often completely made up or deliberately misleading. He said, we'd put compared to £99.99 on a kitchen appliance that nobody else actually sold for that price. Maybe one obscure website had it listed at that price 5 years ago for a week. Technically not illegal, but definitely misleading. And sometimes the comparison is to a completely different product entirely. They'll compare their basic food processor with 3 functions to a premium Kenwood with 15 functions, twice the power and extra attachments. Here's how to check. Before you buy anything from the middle aisle with a comparison price, get your phone out. Search Amazon for similar products. Search Google Shopping. 9 times out of 10, the Lidl price isn't as amazing as the comparison suggests. Number 6, the impulse placement strategy. This is about where Lidl strategically places the middle aisle products within the store layout. The middle aisle isn't in the middle by accident. It's positioned precisely so you have to walk past it to get to essential items like milk, bread, and eggs. A former employee who helped with store layouts explained the strategy. She said, the middle aisle is deliberately placed so that no matter what route you take through the store, you physically walk past it at least once, usually twice. And every time you walk past, something catches your eye. That's the whole point. And they change the stock multiple times per week, so there's constantly something new to catch your attention. She told me we'd restock the middle aisle on Monday morning, Wednesday afternoon, and Friday morning. Completely different products each time. So if you shop twice in 1 week, you'd see completely different things both times. That's double the opportunities for impulse purchases. And here's another clever thing they do. They place the most visually eye-catching items at the end of the middle aisle where you first enter. Bright colors, big products, unusual items that make you stop walking and look. She said, once you stop to look at one thing, you naturally walk down the whole aisle to see what else is there. And once you're walking down the aisle, you're much more likely to buy something. Stopping and looking is the gateway to buying. Number 5, the bundle trap. Lidl very often sells products in bundles or sets. A set of 3 saucepans, a 6-piece screwdriver set, a bundle of cleaning products, a pack of storage containers. Seems like a good value, right? More items for your money. But here's what a former employee who worked in buying told me about those bundles. She said the bundles usually include items you don't actually need or want. You want one good 20-centimeter saucepan, but they force you to buy 3 in different sizes. One will be useful, the other 2 will sit in your cupboard unused forever. And often the bundle contains 1 genuinely good product and 2 rubbish ones. They're offloading products that don't sell well by bundling them with products that do sell. She told me, I've seen bundles where one item is worth £15 and genuinely useful, and the other 2 items are worth about £2 each and nobody wants them, but they charge you £25 for the bundle. You think you're getting a deal, but you're actually overpaying for stuff you'll never use. And bundles make it much harder to compare prices accurately. You can't easily work out if you're actually saving money because you'd have to calculate what each individual item would cost separately, and most people can't be bothered. She said that's completely deliberate. The confusion stops you from realizing realizing you're overpaying or buying things you don't need. If everything was sold individually, you'd look at 2 of the 3 saucepans and think, I don't need those. But in a bundle, you convince yourself it's good value. Only buy bundles if you genuinely need every single item in the bundle and would buy all of them individually anyway. Otherwise, you're wasting money. Before I show you the top 5 tricks, subscribe to this channel right now if you haven't already. I make videos like this every week, exposing retail tricks, saving you money, talking to employees, and helping you shop smarter. The only way I can keep doing this is if you subscribe and share these videos. Drop a comment as well. Tell me what you've bought from the Lidl middle aisle that you regretted. What's gathering dust in your garage? I read every comment, right? Let's continue because the next 5 tricks are even more manipulative. Number 4, the quality lottery. This one is about the wildly inconsistent quality of middle aisle products. You might buy a garden hose from the middle aisle one week and it's of brilliant quality, lasts for years, works perfectly. So next time you see Lidl garden equipment, you trust the brand and assume everything will be that good. But then you buy their garden shears a month later and they break after 2 uses. Or you buy a camping chair that collapses the first time you sit on it. A former employee who worked in returns and quality control explained exactly why this happens. He said, Lidl sources middle aisle products from different manufacturers depending on who's cheapest that season or quarter. So the garden hose might have been made by a decent manufacturer in Germany, but the shears are made by the absolute cheapest factory in China that underbid everyone else. Different factories, different quality standards, different materials. There's no consistency whatsoever. You're basically playing a lottery every time you buy something from the middle aisle. He told me, I've seen customers bring back products that broke immediately within hours. And I've seen other customers using identical products for years without problems. Same product name, same packaging, but different manufacturer, different batch, different quality. It's completely random. And because Lidl deliberately doesn't tell you who manufactures the middle aisle products, you can't research quality or read reviews before buying. You just have to hope you get lucky. Number 3, the planned regret. This is a psychological trick that's quite dark when you think about it. Lidl knows that a significant percentage of middle aisle purchases will be regretted within days. They've actually factored that into their business model. A retail psychology expert explained this to me, and it genuinely shocked me. She said, retailers know from extensive research that about 30% of impulse purchases are regretted within 48 hours. Buyer's remorse sets in, but they also know most people won't actually return those items. They'll just keep them and feel guilty about wasting money. Lidl makes their return policy just inconvenient enough that people don't bother. You have to bring the product back, bring your receipt, wait in the customer service queue, explain why you're returning it. Most people think it's only 20 quid. It's not worth the hassle. And they just keep the item gathering dust in their garage. The expert said, that's 20 pounds of pure profit from a product you'll literally never use. Multiply that by millions of customers across hundreds of stores, and you see exactly why middle aisles are so phenomenally profitable. And here's another layer to this trick. Lidl deliberately positions the store so you have to walk past the middle aisle on your way to customer services. So even when you're returning something you regret buying, you might see something else and impulse buy that too. She told me, I've studied retail layouts for 15 years across multiple countries. Everything is meticulously designed to maximize impulse purchases and minimize returns. It's psychological warfare on your wallet. Here's the defense. If you buy something from the middle aisle and regret it, return it immediately. Don't let them win. And when you're walking to customer services, deliberately don't look at the middle aisle. Eyes forward, walk straight there. Number 2, the anchoring effect. This is one of the most powerful psychological tricks in the middle aisle, and it works even when you know about it. Lidl strategically puts an expensive product right at the entrance to the middle aisle. A 60-pound coffee machine, a 90-pound pressure washer, a 120-pound television. You look at it and think, wow, that's expensive. I definitely don't need that. Then you walk further down the aisle and see a 20-pound toaster or a 30-pound kettle. Suddenly, 20 or 30 pounds feels really cheap because you literally just saw something for 60 or 90 pounds. A former employee told me this placement is completely deliberate and carefully planned. She said, we're specifically trained to put the most expensive items at the very start of the aisle. It's called anchoring in psychology. It makes everything else seem like a bargain by Comparison. Your brain automatically uses the first price you see as a reference point for judging all other prices. And it works incredibly well. Multiple studies have shown that people spend 30 to 40% more in aisles that use anchoring compared to aisles that don't. She told me a story that perfectly illustrates this. I've literally watched customers walk straight past the 60-pound coffee machine, then pick up a 30-pound kettle 5 seconds later and convince themselves out loud that it's a brilliant bargain because it's half the price of the coffee machine. But they didn't need a kettle at all. They already had a perfectly good kettle at home, but the anchoring made 30 quid seem cheap. The employee said she fell for this trick herself multiple times even though she knew about it. I bought a food processor I absolutely didn't need because it was 25 pounds and I just walked past a mixer for 70 pounds. When I got home and unpacked it, I realized I already had a food processor. I'd literally forgotten I owned one because the anchoring effect made me think I was getting such a good deal. Here's how to resist anchoring. Before you even enter the store, decide your actual budget for non-essential items. Write it down if you need to. If something costs more than that budget, walk away immediately, regardless of what else you've seen. Don't let expensive products distort your perception of what's actually cheap. Number 1, the treasure hunt addiction. And here we are. Number 1, the most manipulative, most cynical, most effective trick that Lidl uses in the middle aisle, the treasure hunt addiction. Lidl deliberately makes the middle aisle completely unpredictable. You never know what will be there from week to week or day to day. One week it's camping equipment, next week it's baby clothes, the week after it's power tools, then suddenly it's ski equipment in July, then it's car accessories, then it's random kitchen gadgets. This unpredictability isn't random, it's carefully designed to be addictive. Your brain releases dopamine, the pleasure chemical, every time you discover something unexpected and interesting. A retail psychology expert explained this to me in detail, and it genuinely shocked me how cynical this strategy is. She said Lidl has deliberately created a literal gambling mechanism in their middle aisle. The unpredictability triggers the exact same neurological response in your brain as slot machines. You keep coming back to check what's there because you might find something amazing. It's the same psychology that keeps people pulling slot machine levers. And just like gambling, the occasional win keeps you completely hooked. One week you find an amazing deal that genuinely saves you 30 quid. So you keep checking the middle aisle every week, hoping to find another amazing deal, and most weeks you buy things you don't actually need. She told me, people become middle aisle addicts without even realizing it's happening. They pop into Lidl 3 or 4 times a week just to see what's new in the middle aisle. That's not normal shopping behavior, that's compulsive behavior driven by psychological manipulation, but they don't recognize it as a problem. And here's the really clever part. Lidl trains you to associate their store with excitement and discovery, not just boring functional grocery shopping. So you actively choose Lidl over Tesco or Asda because it's more fun and interesting. The expert said, but that fun costs you hundreds of pounds every year in completely unnecessary purchases. You're essentially paying for entertainment disguised as shopping. It's very clever and very profitable. Here's the harsh truth. The middle aisle is deliberately designed to be addictive, using the same psychological mechanisms as gambling. The only way to win is not to play. So how do you shop at Lidl without falling for these tricks? First, make a detailed shopping list before you leave home and stick to it religiously. If something's not on the list, you don't buy it, no matter how good the deal seems. Second, never walk down the middle aisle unless you have a specific item on your list that you know is there that week. Treat it like it doesn't exist. Third, if you do genuinely need something from the middle aisle, research it first at home. Check reviews online. Compare prices on Amazon. Make sure it's actually good value and decent quality. Fourth, set a strict monthly budget for non-essential purchases. If you want to allow yourself one impulse buy per month, fine. Budget 20 pounds for it. When it's spent, it's spent. And remember, the best deal is the one you don't take on something you don't need, right? That's it. 10 tricks that Lidl uses in their middle aisles to manipulate you into spending money you didn't plan to spend. Have you fallen for any of these tricks? What's the most ridiculous thing you've bought from the Lidl middle aisle that's now gathering dust? Drop your confessions in the comments below. Don't be embarrassed. We've all done it. Share this video with anyone who shops at Lidl, your family, your friends, anyone who needs to understand how retail psychology actually works. Subscribe if you haven't already, because I've got more supermarket exposés coming every single week. I'll see you in the next video.